What's going on guys, Shiny Sorlo here, back with another video. Today I am discussing the possibility that Flowey and Asriel are not one in the same. I know the idea is contradicting to Undertale's narrative, considering that was a big twist, but I don't think it changes all that much. In fact, I would argue it even makes Flowey's character more impactful. With that being said, let's begin. Asriel is a young boss monster born into the royal family sometime after the war. One day a human jumps into the underground, in an attempt to end themselves. Asriel finds this human, and takes them to his parents. Eventually Asriel and the human grow to become friends, maybe even siblings. One day those two decide to make Asgore a pie, however they used buttercups in substitute of butter, which ended up making Asgore very ill. However, this led to the idea of the human eating buttercups, so Asriel could absorb their soul, go to the surface and collect 6 more to break the monster's prison. However, only half of that process happened. Asriel did absorb the human soul, but Asriel, when he made it to the surface, couldn't bear himself to slay the lives of other living beings. Even when the humans attacked him, he wouldn't. Asriel turned back, and when he did make it back, he died in front of his parents. Asgore ended up enraged by this outcome, and blinded by his rage chose to make a choice he'd come to regret. He'd set a policy for any human that falls down here will be killed on sight. Toriel was not going to sit through with this decision, so she abandoned Asgore and went to the ruins so she could protect any human that would fall. Long after the death of Asriel, and probably after all the 6 fallen humans perished, the royal scientist Alfie started to experiment with determination. She first used it in an attempt to heal fallen monsters, but she also used it on Asgore's favorite golden flower. The day after, however, the flower went missing. The flower woke up in the garden with the memories of Asriel. He couldn't feel his arms or legs, and when he called out for help nobody came. Eventually, however, Asgore found him. The flower told him everything, and Asgore attempted to comfort the flower, but even with the flower seeing Asgore as emotional as he was, the flower felt nothing. The flower, however, was trying to feel, but alas, it all just seemed to be a waste of time in his eyes. He chose to leave, and ended up making his way to Toriel. He did faithfully believe that she of all people would be able to make him feel again. She failed to. Seeing the 2 people he thought he could rely on fail him, ended up making them utterly useless from his perspective. Without being able to love or care for ones he did most, he made a harsh choice. He decided to end it all. Upon dying, he suddenly felt something. He felt apprehensive. He asked himself the consequences of death without a soul. He couldn't allow himself to die. Then, as if it was all a bad dream, he woke up in the garden again. With a newfound curiosity, the flower decided to experiment with his own life, dying over and over again. Thanks to his determination, he could come back at any point. In the beginning he did use his powers for good, becoming friends with everyone, solving their problems without issue. He viewed the companionship as amusing for a little bit. Each time, however, people would grow to become predictable and boring. Eventually, he did the one thing he has yet to do: he killed them. In an attempt to comfort himself, he claimed he didn't want to do it. He was doing it because he needed to know what would happen. He knew it was a bad excuse. However, even the thrill of a screwed up activity as that got old. So upon doing everything, he stopped doing anything. So what? Doesn't this just prove that Flowey is a soulless, emotionless version of Asriel trapped within a new flower form? Maybe at face value, but thinking deeper within the subject you may realize it actually has the capability to prove they are not the same being. To start off simple, and on a topic some Undertale fans have already concluded, Flowey isn't truly emotionless. However, the point where I differ is he isn't compassionless either. Flowey does show compassion for Frisk at the end of the pacifist route, specifically when we open up the game again. He wants Frisk to remain happy, and even wants his memories to be erased if we reset. This begs the question, why does Flowey care about Frisk? It's rather simple actually. it's because he built that connection with Frisk. Wait, if that's the reason why he cares for Frisk, why not the others? I mean, as Asriel he had a connection with Toriel and Asgore, and when he turned into a flower he befriended everyone. To answer the Flowey part of that question, those were ingenuine relationships when he had a false God complex and saw the world as his toy. However, this is where the Asriel isn't Flowey truly begins. There is one major thing that dictates who Flowey is compared to who Asriel was. Their experiences, not their memories. Think about it with me. If it was the soul that determined if Flowey was distant or not, then why during the entire Omega Flowey fight he remains the exact same? He has 6 souls after all. Now you may be thinking,
okay Sorlo, why would Flowey turn into Asriel with the power of 7 human souls if they weren't the same?
The answer to that is rather simple. It's back to the memories thing. The power of the souls allowed Flowey to change his form, so if he was able to turn into an eldritch being, then what do you think is stopping him from becoming who he thinks he is? When we fight Asriel Dreamer, he literally has Flowey's personality the entire time. The only way to snap him into some form of sanity is by convincing him. Well, I think I've forgotten the most important character to do with Flowey/Asriel, the first fallen human. Why would Flowey care about them so deeply, but not anyone else? It's rather simple actually. Flowey confronted what he believed to be his past immediately, thinking the connection was already there. Though he was never able to confront the first fallen human. So he clanged onto the idea of them, obsessed over them, to some degree shaped his personality to fit Asriel's last moments with them. He is so blinded by this obsession, he so badly tried to convince himself Frisk and the first fallen human were one in the same. Flowey isn't an idiot, he was just desperate. A part of him probably hated the first fallen human, but another part of him couldn't get rid of the idea of being best friends, so depending on what you did is how he chose his actions. Thanks for watching till the very end of the video. I tend to struggle making these videos, whether it be lack of motivation, lots of other projects, or just simply having to write scripts. If you do enjoy my content and want more of it, you should definitely consider subscribing to my channel, it'll help me stay motivated. You should also consider joining my servers to help me build community. Anyways, that's all from me, see you hopefully soon.